Beautiful inhabitants of Japan. Pirika means good, pretty, nice in Ainu language. The song says, "It's a nice day today. I wonder which child you think is good. I can tell you a good child." What does the word Ainu mean? Indigenous people living in the northern area of Japan called themselves Ainu, which means human. They believed that animals are incarnation of God. They differentiated themselves from animals by calling them Ainu. Hello there, how are you everyone? This is Hokkaido, the northernmost island of the Japanese archipelago. The size is the same as Austria in Europe. Ainu people are ethnically distinct from the general Japanese population. They used to be spread all the way from Sakhalin and half of Kuril Islands down to Hokkaido and Tohoku areas. Ainu people used to have a quite different physical characteristics shown in the photos: lighter complexion, hairy body, deep eye sockets, and bigger noses. Ainu males wear thick and full beard and mustache, which are distinctive physical traits not commonly found in Japanese males. These characters are similar to Caucasians in Europe. In 1868, a new regime took off under the name of Meiji Restoration, ending the isolation policy that had lasted for 215 years. Three years later, in 1871, the Japanese government outlawed many of Ainu ancestral traditions, which were tattoo on bodily parts like arms, hands, and lips. These are examples of their tattoos on arms. They also prohibited hunting for safety reasons, but it was obvious that the rule was quite unreasonable. A bear hunting. They believe that bears are the most sacred animals in the world. Aside from those prohibitions, they added ban of salmon fishing in rivers, use of their language. While confiscating their ancestral land Ainu inherited from their ancestors. The ban of these ancestral assets gave a detrimental damage to their existence, ending up their traditional life. Instead, the government gave them alternative land to settle down for farming, having them assimilate into the society. By the way, I have to mention Ainu language. They have only oral language without written system. Ainu people used their language verbally for storytelling, rituals, knowledge transfer, and folklore for children. But lack of written system was a critical problem not only for Ainu, but also for any people in human society. While talking about Ainu history, we have to go back to things happened 1500 years ago. The Red Circle was the capital then. Powerful men of the time wanted the northern regions. Then they dispatched troops to conquer Ainu villages. Battles between the Japanese samurai and Ainu lasted for 1,000 years, from 6th century to 16th century. As a result, Ainu seemed extinct from Tohoku region. Let me tell you two large-scale battles between Ainu and the medieval samurai. One was Koshamain's War, occurred in 1457. The battle took place at the spot marked in red. It ended the next year with the death of the Ainu leader. The second battle was caused by an Ainu leader, Shakushain, in southern Hokkaido in 1669. However, he was trapped by his enemy's plot and murdered at a peace conference. It was the last full-scale battle for Ainu. Ainu gradually lost their land and population, unable to rebel against the Japanese by the end of the 16th century. This picture was drawn in 1775. The oldest one depicted Ainu. 3 Ainu men give a present to the samurai leader. I'm sure this is quite a humiliating scene for Ainu people. Here's an interesting fact about Ainu history. There's an old literature called Jinkokuki written in the 15th century. I'll mention it later in this video. Next topic is about ethnicity of Ainu. Where are you from? What ethnic roots do you have? Why do you look different from us? Let's go to see the starting point where Ainu initiated their long journey thousands of years ago. This area now belongs to Russia and Georgia, called Caucasus region, located between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. A Caucasus old man with beard and mustache. They are all from Caucasus area. They are all Ainu people. They have distinctive physical features of Caucasians. Anthropologists say Caucasus region was where Europeans, Mediterraneans, and Arabs appeared. They were born in the same place, then spread to various destinations, probably to find a better environment. One group set out to the east, and some people finally reached the eastern coast. They were Ainu ancestors. It must be an unimaginably hard journey to cross the Eurasian continent of 10,000 kilometers on foot. This map shows the routes how Ainu went into Japan thousands of years ago. Linguists and anthropologists found that Ainu language has no relation with any of Altaic language families, making it a unique linguistic heritage. If they had contacted other tribes on their way to the east, their language should have been influenced by some Altaic language. Altaic language contains Turkic, Mongolic, Tungusic, Koreanic, and Japonic. Now we can understand why Ainu looked different from us and why their language was different from Asian languages. Initially, they settled in Hokkaido. Probably Hokkaido was a dreamland for them, full of blessings of nature. Ainu first landed Hokkaido between 1000 BC and 100 AD. Then they gradually migrated down to Tohoku until 500 AD. Some of them made their way to Tohoku region, and eventually many Ainu settled in the whole Tohoku area. Tohoku is the size of Belgium and Netherlands combined. Ainu settled in Hokkaido and Tohoku, but their happy life didn't last long, for other settlers later came from China and Korea. As mentioned before, Ainu people were said to be swept away from the Tohoku region by the beginning of the 16th century. I mentioned earlier the literature called Jinkokuki, which was said to be compiled in the mid-16th century. It has an interesting phrase in it. In the mountainous area of Tohoku, unique people live in hiding in the middle of nowhere. They had lighter complexion, different eye colors, even some had blue eyes. Here is where the unique people were hiding in the middle of nowhere 500 years ago. This area is now called Wangagun of Iwate Prefecture. It's already past 500 years. Probably many of the inhabitants there got mixed with the Japanese people. An Ainu girl of several decades ago looks beautiful. She's a modern Ainu lady, Ms. Yuni Hayasaka. What a cutie. A modern Ainu man, Mr. Atsushi Monbetsu. His occupation is a hunter. He looks obviously a Caucasian descendant. In fact, people living in the northern areas have lighter complexion, large deep-set eyes, hairy body, bigger noses in larger numbers, obviously different from ordinary Japanese people. When I was a university student in the US, an anthropologist, Dr. M, told us in his class that Ainu belonged to white people. He continued, Ainu were the first and only white people defeated by non-whites in human history. Well, he might be right in a sense. I think the Ainu people are beautiful, attractive people. Ainu history in Japan was sad. Their existence is almost on the verge of extinction in Japan. However, here's a good news. New Ainu generations are trying to restore their culture. This gentleman is Mr. Oki Kano, a musician. He's also an Ainu descendant. Looks like a movie star. This lady is Ms. Yuka Hayasaka, well-known Ainu art expert, working actively in various fields. Ainu people arrived in the Japanese archipelago long before modern Japanese landed from China. I hope all the people living in this country live together with mutual respect for better society.